David Babinski, COVID loans now. We're looking at the CARES Act that was recently signed by the president, looking at this Paycheck Protection Program. A lot of questions coming in. You know, is this going to be for me? How does it work? I thought, why don't I just take 5 minutes or less, go through the high points, and give you a little bit of my commentary on what's actually happening here. So the question becomes, how do I know if the Paycheck Protection Program is right for me, the p.p.p. from now on? Well, it's real simple. Do you have payroll? Are you paying employees, which also can include yourself, that you want to retain and not have to lay off? This was the bill that was designed to keep the country working. Well, let's put it this way, keep the country paid, whether they're working or not. You know, that's up to you and your business, but it's real simple. If you have payroll, you need to watch the next 4.5 minutes. So what is it? What is this program? It's going to be a forgivable loan. Okay, today is April 1st. I've been studying the act for about the last 72 hours, and it's changing by the day. Just today, the law says the interest rate for this program is 4% or less. Just today, they came out and said it's 0.5% on the actual loan. Now, we'll get to why that's not going to matter, but again, things are coming out daily. You cannot apply for this loan, according to my sources, until Friday. Today is the 1st of April. This is not an April Fool's joke. Friday is when we're expected, which would be the 3rd. So it's a forgivable loan for payroll. So what does that include? Salaries, wages, and commissions, vacation and sick leave, healthcare premiums, retirement plans, state and local taxes. So this is the act that has been put in place so you can retain and keep your employees on payroll. They're going to give you the money to do it, and then they're going to forgive it. Okay. So what can you use the funds for? What's what I just said, right? The payroll. So this is for, you know, your salaries. You could pay your health insurance premiums for your whole company, retirement plan contributions, interest on any mortgage. We'll get down to some limitations, but if you're paying a mortgage, the interest portion, you can use this loan for. If you're paying rent, utilities, interest on other debt. So let's think about it. State and local taxes as well. Money into the system so that we don't grind to a halt. That's what this is based on. Don't put your people on unemployment. Use this program to bridge the gap. We don't know how long it's going to last, but this is, you'll see in a minute, it's going to be for 8 weeks. So who's eligible? Like I said, if you've got payroll, you should have made it this far, but who is actually eligible? We have to be a small business, right? This is the small business part of the CARES Act. So under 500 employees. You know, if you're Boeing, you have a different 35 billion than what we're talking about here. You have to be in business prior to February 15th. So that's how they determine who's eligible. Well, you had to have started the company before, you know, the worldwide crisis started. Sole proprietors are okay. So even though you're saying, oh, it's payroll protection, I don't take a W-2, stay tuned. Independent contractors, same story. Self-employed, same story. So like I said, we'll go through a little. Now, how do you do? Well, how much can you get? Well, I'll take as much as you'll give me, right? So there's some limitations. It's up to 10 million, but there is a maximum loan amount. You're going to take a look at your average payroll for the last year, take the monthly, and then multiply that by 2.5. So the maximum loan amount is 2.5 times of your monthly payroll. So again, this is the provision that's simply for payroll. We're going to talk a little bit about that 0.5 in a second. What is the term, interest rate, and fees? Like I said, 10-year term, fixed 0.5%, half of 1% is the interest rate, 0 loan fees, 0 prepayment penalty. This is money to keep the country working. So how long until I get my money? Well, they say it's going to be a stripped down application. The draft application we reviewed is 1 page. There's going to be some supporting documents, of course. We'll get to why in a second. They say it's going to be approved way more quickly. As a matter of fact, there's rumors that are saying they're going to fund this same day. Again, the intent of the law was to put money in the streets, stop people from being laid off, and keep the country working, keep the economy going. Now, how is the loan repaid? Well, it's forgivable. So if you do it right, you're never going to have to repay this. Okay, so that is the whole point. You have to do it right. You know, well, how is that forgiveness amount calculated? This is where, you know, we're going to give you a little bit of advice. They're going to take your payroll under a certain 8-week period. So this is what we're getting into the details here. You're going to pick an 8-week period between now and June 30th and say, okay, for that period, I'm going to use my PPP loan to cover those expenses and have it forgiven. you're going to take the interest that you paid on debt, mortgage and otherwise. You're going to take your rent, you're going to take your utilities, and you're going to take what you actually paid during that period. So we're going to base the loan amount on your average payroll, but then when you go for the forgiveness, it's going to be what you actually spent on these items that are allowable items, okay? Now, how do you get the forgiveness? Well, you're going to work with the lender. All right, we're going to talk about how to get these in a second, but you have to work with your lender and you have to document. They're going to ask for the 941s to prove payroll. They're going to ask for, eventually a 1099 to show that there was independent contract. They're going to ask for a K1 if you're a sole proprietor. So, like a lot of this act, it's 274 pages, on a PDF that I've got here right from the Senate. But on a lot of this, it's like, here's what we want to do. Somebody else go figure out how to do it. So it's all coming out in real time. We'll probably end up updating this video before the release on Friday, but we wanted to get something out. But document, and we'll figure out the exact blocks, chapter, and verse on how to forgive this, how to do it. And then here's a tip. Because it's going to be so highly scrutinized, because it's forgivable loan, which is another way of saying grant, but they want to put you on the hook if you don't do it right, you want to open a separate bank account. Same company name, call your bank. I want a separate account that's called account number 2. Okay, so you're going to open a separate bank account and you're only going to use this money for the allowable expenses, payroll, rent, healthcare, retirement plans, and we're going to document. Now, some people say, well, can I get more than one? This sounds great. No. So the answer is 1 per business or trade name. So if you've got multiple businesses that are legitimately separate businesses with separate employees, have at it. But you can't double dip. The one thing we already heard they're going to look out for is, I'm going to hire my spouse and then no, stop. Look at last year's payroll. You're going to take 1 month's average of 1 month. You're going to multiply it by 2.5, and that's what you can use this for. So how do I apply? You have to use a bank. Okay, this is an SBA program being funded through banks. That's why I made a point before to say, we heard it's going to be a streamlined process. We heard they can fund as quickly as the same day, but you're going to have to find a bank. Now, the good news is just about every national bank, they're approved lenders. And we're working with a network of banks that are ready to go to fund these loans. Again, noon on Friday is what I was told. These applications are going to drop and we're going to start funding. So we're going to be busy this weekend. Now, we will help our clients through this process. We charge no fees whatsoever to do that. We do get paid by the bank. It's like an affiliate fee or, like a referral fee. So you have payroll, look at the Paycheck Protection Program, send us an email info@COVID Loans Now. If you didn't come to this from our website, go to the website. We have a Get Started Now area. Fill that out, get into the queue, and that would really be my advice. These are not unlimited programs. So whether you're looking at your state's program, whether you're looking at the Paycheck program, or if you're looking at an emergency disaster loan, you have to get in the queue. Get the process started. Reach out to us, contact us, and we will help you analyze the best strategies to make sure that you have the cash flow you need to get to the other side of this. So everyone be well, stay healthy, and again, reach out if you have any questions whatsoever. Thanks.